Hello and welcome to part 2 of this Hollywood Amp 1. So we ran this up in part 1 and it was quite a lot of fun. I've just stuck some card over the speaker because it's very flimsy, and that just because it's very hard to keep, there's no sides on this and it's very hard to move this around without putting your hands there. So we've got that cardboard on there just to protect the speaker. We're going to change the power cable on this, and we need to address this fuse. I'll just come over a bit so you can see. So we're going to change this power cord. This is awful, and we've got to sort this fuse out as well. The on-off switch doesn't work, so we need to look at that as well, see if we can do anything with it. If not, then we're going to have to try and find a new one somewhere. We'll have to see what we have in stock. So then I'm going to, once I've got this cord on, we're going to have just see what the capacitors are like as well and things, and just check the coupling caps to see if we've got any leakage. I don't think we will have, because we've got, looks like we've got ceramics there. Not sure whether this is a mod or not, you know, on here with these two sprays, orange drops. And we've got this Aerovox cap here, which we need to look at, which I've got a feeling is a cathode bypass capacitor. On there, I need to get the pin out for this 6AQ5. Most pin outs I've got in my head, but that one I haven't. But first thing we'll do is we'll get this power cord changed before we do anything else. And you can see this mess here. So we're going to drill this out. We're going to put a proper cable gland in there to hold that so it's safe. That's the first thing. Let's get this thing safe. Right, we've got this power cord in. We've got put a star washer there on this fuse because it was loose, to tighten it up. So we've wired this up. There's the black is the hot, the tip of the fuse, out the fuse, into the switch, which we don't have. I've ordered that as well. So the pot and the switch, because that's out, that's just tatered. And then it'll come out the switch. It goes back into the transformer there, and then comes out of the transformer there into the neutral. And that is that. Got the ground on there, and you can see if we look here. And you can see if we look here, we've got the cable gland in there, so that's nice and solid. It's a nice solid cable. Of course, this is 110 volt, this amp, remember, so we've got, there we go. So that's all done, and that's much safer now, tidy and safe. So we're waiting for this pot to come in now. So what we're going to do in the meantime is I'm going to just solder these two wires together and insulate them, and then we can just switch this on, i.e. via the transformer, because obviously I need to use a step down being in the UK. Can't just plug this into the mains. Right, let's check this 12AX7, see if it's tired. Ah, he's a lumberjack. Have a look. Yep, he's okay. He's a result. So he's good. Now let's have a look at this 6AQ5. So we need to look in the book for that. Because, as I say, it's a tube I've not used for a long time. Let's see what we've got. Q5. There we go. The camera's shattering over it. 6AQ5 4 E1 and test is 2. That should be easy enough. So he goes in there. That little doofra socket there. Test is 2. No shorts. Oh, and he's a beauty. We can tell by the speed of the needle coming up there. Yeah, so he's good as well. So it's not looking like we're going to need any tubes for this amp. And the only one left is this 5879 we need to look for. Let's have a look. 5879, 5E1 and test is 3. So 5E1 and test is 3. Let's put him in the socket. Okay, has that got him properly? Yep. Test is 3. No shorts, my word, he's come up quick, hasn't he? Nothing wrong with him. So the tubes are A1 in this amp, so that's good news as well. Well, it is for Kieran. He'll be well pleased with that. Right, let's get them in. Right, I've got it up and running. Got a bit of interference on this tube here, so we need to look at that. $164, 157. No screen resistor. What we got here? Looks like cathode voltage. To check the pin on this, but that's going to ground. Yeah, that's. So where's the cathode resistor? Ah, there it is. Just spotted it. Yep, 8.52 we've got. So that's cathode. I think that's screen, that one. 165, and I think that's that tube again. I'll have to sort that out. Turn the volume down. And I think that's the output transformer that way, obviously going through there. Look at that, no grommet on there, that's a bit naughty. $156, and the screen's got more voltage than the plate, so which is never good. Caps seem fine. Turn the volume down. Silent. No point changing those. So I think really with this all we need to do is install the volume pot, check the bias, and we just need sort that tube socket out and just check to see if we've got any leakage onto the grids. But I bet we haven't, because we've got these ceramic caps. What's on that Sprague? Nothing on there. Is that going to ground? Ah, it is going to ground. Need to check which of these tubes is. I think we'll clean these tubes and then to sockets, and then we'll find out. I just need to know which is which, because obviously I can't tell upside down. Right, so there's none of the coupling caps are leaking, no voltage on the grids. Just got him to check cathode resistor, just check a few other resistors, but other than that everything seems fine. Shall we add a screen resistor to this 6AQ5? Yes, I think we should, shouldn't we? It should have one on really, and we've got that imbalance of voltage there. Right, see if we can trace out some of this. Just make sure that is the screen. Check out some of this voltage rail. So a couple of diodes here, so we should have 230. That's the maximum plate volt. Not a lot of plate volts, 230. So that disappears down there. So is that a choke? This wire coming out here, we've got 230 on there, or 224. But you can't see the meter, can you? It's a bit difficult on this one. Bring the camera a bit. A snatch. There you go. You can see it. So yeah. So we're coming in here. We've got 231.7, and then through that choke wire back out to here. Choke's dropped a bit of voltage off, 224, and then where are we? Has that wire been cut there? Oh, I think someone's been modding in here. I can see a wire there that's being cut, and it could well be that one. 101 on there. Oh, because it's going to this big resistor here, 224. Duh. Ah, Mr. Lacrosse. 163. 224. That's a bit of a drop. And that wire disappears under there. So that'll be the centre tap then for the transformer. Centre tap. So why is the centre tap on the second node? So this is something that Gooden, chap that leaves me quite a lot of useful information, that some of these amps had the centre tap on the second power node. So I'm looking at this. We've got the choke. That's the first power node after the choke. In fact, really, that should be the. We should. But yeah, we could have that there. But really, you could have the centre tap there. But fair enough, the choke. Then the centre tap. I'm presuming that centre tap's going under there. But this is the second node, and we've got the centre tap. That's a 2K resistor. We've got another resistor, very small one, going along there to there as well. I've got 150 volts on there. It's taking some figuring out. That's going on to feed the plates on this tube. Or that plate at least anyway, on this 12AX7. So I'm presuming this point, so they've actually got the plate and the screen at this second node then, I think, because I'm guessing that's the screen. So I've got 163 on there. Yes, and I've got 163 on there. So the centre tap is connected here. fair enough, I suppose. Is that right? Oh yeah, that's going to there. That's right, so that's connecting to that cap. That cap there, just a bit more so you can see. So that cap there, that's coming on this 2000 ohm resistor, connects to here, and that connects to the screen. But then we've got the center tap and the plate, so that's how I know that is the center tap as well, because obviously voltage is being dropped on the winding on the output transformer there. So we need a screen resistor on there to balance that up a bit. I mean, what this was used for originally, for sinking, for sinking film, probably didn't matter, but as we're going to be cranking this flat out, we really need a screen resistor on there. We need to balance those voltages up. So let's do that first. So just testing some of these resistors that we've got here. So we'll start with him. Ooh. So he's 24.8k, he should be 33k. He's 10k, he's 11.1, not bad. He's 10k, he's 10k, near enough. I managed to bend that. Right, him, he's 100k. We'll take that. 104, 1 meg. Is that 1 meg? Sorry, 500. Oh, it's 500 ohms, 0.5k. He's okay. What about this big beast here, 2000 ohms? Oh, he's on the money. Right on the money. Cathode resistor, 287, should be 270. He's a little over, but not in a bad way. If it was under, it might be over biased. 104, that's 100k, that's good. That is 1 meg. He's near enough, he's good. 5.6k. Oh, was he connected with some? Well, he's a bit under. What's he doing? Let's have a look. Pin 8. He's a cathode resistor, is he? 6, 7. Yes, he's a cathode resistor. That's the 12x7. Right, let's move over here. That is 690k. Oh, he's not showing anything. What's going on with him? Well, he's showing open lead. Well, he's showing as balloon, madam. 470k. Yeah, he's on the money. 1.5 meg. He's on the money. These are just low voltage ones, really. We'll test that one. No voltage on these. I mean, he doesn't want to show me anything as well. He does. He's okay. But that 470. I wonder why that. Funnily enough, that's connected to this. Well, that's odd. So we've got two resistors here. Oh, has he decided to work now? Oh, he has. So is he... 35k, 39, 40k, still going up. According to that, he's 680k he should be. So he's something not with him. He may have to come out of circuit. So he's a bit suspect, I'm sure that. I can't get nothing out of him either. Where's he going to? That socket that says magnetic, which we plug the guitar in. So he seems out of spec, but whether that's just what else he's in circuit with, and he doesn't work at all. Oh, he does now. .13 meg. That must be in. Is that wired in parallel with that? Yes, it is. Don't know what's going on with that, but anyway, we'll disconnect that and check it. So we need to check this Aerovox bypass capacitor now. 109 nanofarad, and so 109 nanofarad. Point one, that's more. Is that 1 microfarad or 0.1 microfarad? Surely it must be 0.1. And the points got rubbed off. Bit low, 0.1. Don't know then. Could do it up in that a bit. 0.1's really low for to go across there. What we'll do is we'll switch on. We'll turn it up. That's not having much effect. So I think we can say he might be blown. I expect some slight increase in volume, but there's nothing there, so he might be all over. That says 1 microfarad, it says 109 on the meter. It could be a 0.1, in which case measure's okay. But it's certainly not making any difference. I don't expect to have got a bit of something out of it putting that across. Let's have a look what we've got to replace that. we don't want to go too mad on this. Maybe 2.2 microfarad. I think I've got some Vichy 2.2 microfarad caps somewhere lurking. That's 10 microfarad. Although that wouldn't be too bad. The thing with that is as well, it's not actually a electrolytic, is it? It's just a coupling capacitor. So we'd be better off with electrolytic on there. Although they do work, but it's not as effective. Get a bit more volume out of it and a bit more gumption. But somewhere I've got some 2.2 microfarad Vichys, and I think if we put one of those on there, that might be all right. Or maybe a 10. Maybe a 10 would do. Yes, let's stick a 10 on it. 10 will be fine. 22 on a Fender Champ. So 10 will be for this, because that speaker is a bit small. We don't want to make it 240. So we'll get him off, put a 10 microfarad on there, and then we'll put a screen resistor in there. Probably put 2.2k in there just to try and make sure we balance that voltage right. Anywhere from 1k to 2.2k is fine for one of those. Oh dear, someone's singed that. I'm just going to get a pin out, so I am 100% on this too, but I think that's the screen. Right, I've just plugged it in. I've just fitted the screen resistor and the coupling cap, plugged it in, and it's not working, and then I realised it's because I haven't put the tube back in. So if you ever soldering tube bases, it's probably best to take the tube out so the heat from the soldering iron doesn't damage the tube as it works its way down the pins. Right, we'll try again, shall we? I didn't realise actually until I put the meter on the screen, and then there was a really high voltage. Well, that seems a little brighter now, doesn't it? I can tell there's a lot more top in that. Getting rid of that, putting that on and getting rid of that Aerovox thing. That's much brighter. 159. Whoops. Turn the volume down. It's making rude noises at me. 167, that's more like it. 169. 160, that's more like it. We could have got away with 1k actually, but 1.5k, but it's fine at 2.2. That's good. It'll not do that screen any harm to have a bit less voltage on it. Yeah, 159, nearly 160, about 60 volts. Actually, that says 160. There's only about 4 volts difference, so that's fine. That's good. That's all done. We're just tracing out this preamp stage. Let's check the bias on it as well now. Let's have a look what we've got, because it's no good checking the bias till I put the screen resistor in. 8 volts on the nose. What did we say that cathode resistor was? It was a little under, wasn't it? We'll have to check that again. I've forgotten. We'll do the bias. So 8 volts on the nose volt drop across the cathode resistor. Let's have a look what plate to cathode voltage we've got. So there, and the plate there, and that. Oh, 172. 172. Right, we'll switch off. Go on to ohms with the meter. see what we've got on this resistor. 287. It is a little bit over. Oh. $287. 8 volts. Divide by 287. Take away 5% for the screen. Times 172. Ooh. 4.55. My word, that's low. That's really low. Ew. That's less than 50%. 12 watt dissipation. So I've done quite a bit of work to this amp, and that power supply, I just was not happy with the way it was wired. So somebody's obviously been tinkering with that. But a few other problems have, well, one other problem has arisen now. So this resistor here is 500 ohms, and that is between the centre tap of the AC and ground. And they've put this in to reduce the plate voltage, and I'll show you what to reduce the B+, which inevitably reduces the plate voltage for the tube. Now the tube has an absolute maximum plate voltage of 250 volts. So they're using this resistor to bring that down. And it's a bit of a weedy thing. It's a carbon comp. But what's happened to this resistor, this 500 ohm resistor, over time? It's increased in value, as carbon comps do. And obviously it's been getting extremely hot, which it will do. You know, that amount of current on the B+ is going to make this get really hot. You can see it's only 2-3 watt resistor, and as that's increased in value, it's then got hotter and hotter because the resistance has increased and it's starving more voltage. I measured that, it is 1k. It has doubled. So we've now got a 1k resistor going to ground. So when I put this power supply back to how it should be, because I can't believe it was wired up like that from the factory, this resistor's now getting even hotter. So I had to put it on the current limiter last night. If I'd have turned it off the current limiter, it would have burnt up that resistor. It was so hot. Not straight away, but after a while it was just getting hotter and hotter. And I think somebody's rearranged this power supply trying to stop that, and they made a bit of a mess of it. So these cans have got a 20/20 and a 10. So I have wired this power supply up to just use the 20s and left the 10s. Very simple, just a simplistic way of doing it. So we've got node 1, 20 microfarad, centre tap there. We've got then, we've gone through this fuse as well, which I've added, of course, for safety. So we go in, then from the first node we go through the choke to the screen to another 20. Then we've got a 4.7k drop-in resistor that goes off to the pentode, the 5879, to smooth that. And then we go through a 1.2k resistor, and that at 20 microfarad, and that goes off to smooth the 12AX7. Simple as that. So what we're going to do, I've got this amp on the current limiter. I've got a 100 watt bulb in there. Now that is with that 500 ohm resistor in circuit. Now I'm going to take that, I'm going to jumper that out of circuit now, and you can see the plate voltage rise. See it drop. That's with the resistor in, and that's with the resistor out. Now that's 220 volts plate to ground, not plate to cathode. Remember, this amp's cathode biased. So this amp is now running on the limit, but we've still got it current limited. Now just for a second I'm just going to switch that off, that current limiter. Look at that voltage, 340, just back on again. So 340 volts, so probably this 50 volts over, or more, 50 odd volts over plate to cathode. So we need to address that before we go any further with this amp. So that power supply is just huge for this amp, and there's just not enough tubes in this amp to draw it down. You could run 2 of those tubes, those 6AQ5s off that transformer comfortably. So what we need to do now is snip out that 500 ohm resistor and jumper in something else. Now I've got a very nice ohmite 250 ohm resistor here, and I'm going to start with that. Right, so I've jumped in that 250 ohm ohmite resistor. We plug in, we're on the current limiter. It's drawing down the voltage. I don't know how they ever hoped that that would last very long. Oh, it's been in there long. It must have been in there a while. So we've got 252 volts. So we'll just flick off the current limiter. And that's took us up to 307. Let's just see what that is now, plate to cathode. 278, so we are still over. Right, we need to find something a little larger. So 500 ohms is probably looking round about right. Right, I've got 600 ohms in there now. I've got a couple of ohmite 300s in series, and they are hot. You can touch them, but they're hot. So that resistor that they got on there, that 500 ohms that had raised up to a K, that was dissipating 8 watts, and that thing was about 2. So why on earth they put that in, I don't know. So I've also lost, having done this power supply, I also got rid of that 2K resistor, the big resistor, the green thing that was stuck in there. So we've actually got rid of that as well. That, don't know, that wasn't in there from factory. So now I've got this through, just through a bigger speaker, nothing fancy. So I want to get this amp sounding right before we start working on the higher gain, and this amp's got a reasonable amount of gain on it now, but we can we've got more options to really whoop that gain up. One is, and that's not fitted yet, on this pentode here, this 5879, and that's what I've put this switch in for. We're going to wire a capacitor in there to the screen on this 5879. So we have a capacitor from screen to cathode, and that really boosts up the gain on that. So we've got that option. We've got no bypass cap on this first stage of this 12AX7, and no bypass cap on the second stage, so there's options there to really whoop the gain up on this amp, which is what we want to do. Now there was a 2 nanofarad on here, and I've got a 10 in at the moment, and I might put that back to 2. But this amp sounds great. We just need to work on that gain a little more. The other thing that's just letting this amp down is the old AC thing again. So if you listen, I've turned this amp down, it's absolutely silent. And if you think how much noise it was making before, that's now flat out. As you back the volume off, you can hear that AC hum, which is this. You can hear it, see it increasing as it gets. Now one idea I had to get rid of that would have been to put the power switch on the back. So although we've bought this new push-pull pot, we could use that push-pull again for, you know, an idea. We don't have to have the mains power on there. The idea was to remove the fuse holder, put the switch in there, and then put a mains fuse inside this amp, for the power wall outlet, the mains fuse inside this amp, and then we could have the switch on the back and get rid of that humming that we've got, which is where it connects onto the switch. So we've got 248 volts on the plate of this tube now, plate cathode. That's the B plus voltage to ground, you can see there. So we've got 248 volts. And the bias is now 12.4 watts, which is right. It's a tiny bit over, but that's fine. And that's with 600 ohms of resistors in here. And this thing sounds mint. It's just a matter of shaping that gain now and power switch is now on here. So I've got rid of the cable that was making the hum. Remember, we detached it. I've got rid of that, put a switch in there. We removed the 30mm fuse holder, we've put a 20 in there. So we've utilised that. That was like a lamp outlet, which obviously we're never going to use that. So I've took the wires from that. They came from the transformer. I've insulated those. They're tucked away down here. And also we've added this switch because we're going to use that for lifting some bypass caps in and out. But there was also an 1/8 inch jack socket just lay dormant there, and it was connected, something to do with that switch we had in, all that mess that was again creating noise. Got rid, but I have drilled that out a nudge and I've put a tone control in there. So we're going to have a 5F2A tone control on this amp because it is a little bright. So we can adjust that and take some of that off, and it makes it a bit easier for me then to get this circuit right, because if we get too much top we can just turn it down, can't we? So that's a result. So that really has changed this amp completely now. Having got rid of that AC outlet, we've that AC feed across here to this pull switch. We've got rid of that. Now we can use this pull switch as well for something. Now we've got a spur switch there as well. Right, we're about there with this amp. In fact, it would be completely finished had I had not damaged one of the new switches that I've put on slightly with the soldering iron. Still works, but it sticks occasionally. Just left the iron on a bit too long. I want it on this micro switch. So let's look at the back now and see what we've got to what we had when we first had this amp in bits. So we've now got the on-off switch on the back instead of on the front, and that got rid of the AC hum. We've got the cable secured much better now. We've got the fuse holder in for the power, because remember the fuse holder was there, so we've moved it across. Speaker socket as normal, and then we've got a tone control. We've got tone control on this amp. Use that hole there for that redundant 8th socket that we got there that was not being used. So we've got our tone control, and we've got this micro switch, which is it's off in the center. We've got an on and we've got an on there, but as I say, that occasionally jams and works intermittently because I held the soldering iron too long on one of the terminals. Quite easily done with those, they're fragile. I was napping there. Never mind, we've ordered some more. That was the last one I had. So that looks rather tasty. We found this nice tasty knob to go on there. So he's on. He's wobbling a bit because it's a spline shaft and this one's got a grub screw in it, but it's all I could find for the time being, and it'll be fine. It's only on the back. So we turn it round and we've got the knob on here. So we're all ready to go with the demo. Right, so we're up and running. I'm going to record this demo a little different than the others. So because I'm having to switch and do on the back of this, I'm stood up and I'm at the side of it. And you see it off of my ugly mug anyway on the demos. So you're just going to see the amp this time. So I've got the hot plate going there. And we're going to use that because this amp is really loud now. Remember before it was only biased at 4 watts. The power supply was wired up wrong. It was noisy. And also it had no headroom, so you couldn't get a clean sound out of it ever so well. Now you can hear that we can. Now the switch on the back, the micro switch on the back, is in the off position. So all we've got is the volume of the amp and the tone control now working this. So, and if I turn up the tone, you see it goes quite bright. If I turn it all the way down, we can get this amp to be warm as well. Now I've got this on a 1x12 cab because that's what Kieran's using this amp on, so I didn't want to put it through the 4x12, and wiring this amp up to 4 speakers doesn't exactly give us a brilliant idea of, you know, of what it, I mean, obviously everything sounds good through the 4x12, so I thought today we'd use this cabinet, and this has actually got one of those Eminence Patriot with the Neo Magneton, and I really like this cab. I put that speaker in, took the 150 watt out. This is a Marshall 1912. They had a 150 watt speaker in there, so I've taken that out and put this Patriot in, which I've still not paid for. It came from the shop. See, we've got a nice clean tone on there. And if we pop it onto the front, the neck pickup, which is humbucker, listen how quiet it is. So quiet. I mean, you've got that little bit of background hum, you know, that you get with single-ended amps. I'd have expected a lot more than that. Those caps are in fantastic shape. So yes, those caps are superb, and which is why I've not removed them. There's no need to change those. So you see now I'm on the neck pickup. If we just back some tone off there. Now if we go all the way up with the tone. Just flick one notch up on there. I have to be careful with the volume with this camera because it doesn't have an auto gain level on it, and if we're not careful we'll overload it and we'll have distortion. So you can see that's a really nice clean tone. Just go up a bit on the volume. Problem we do have with this 5879 pentode, it's a little bit microphonic to say the least. We are getting some feedback when we use this little speaker, which we'll come on to later. So that's in both pickups. So you see you've got a lovely clean tone. So let's just go down another notch on there. Now you can just see it beginning to break up. Excuse the playing today, the arthritis in my thumbs is is just nipping me a little bit. So I'm just going to go down on there again. Now I'm going to crank this. So you can see there's a great tone there coming out of that. Rusty playing. Right, so that's where we're at with that. So let's have a look at these switches on the back that we've got now. So I'm just going to back this off a little again. So that's what I call more the mild setting on there. And now if we go, see that's very bright. We can back that off again with the tone control. A little bit of that off. Now if we start to crank it, get a nice tight overdrive on that. So again, if we can alter the brightness of that with the tone control. All the tone out, so that's all the treble out. Just ease a little bit in. clip overdrive there. Let's go flat out. Notice it's quite bassy. We've got quite a bit of bass in there. So now if we go to the other part of the switch, we've lost some of the bass now. We can back that down. Awesome now. Losing a bit of that bass out of there now with that. So that kind of boosts the overdrive a bit. So we've kind of got mild on that switch, and then we've got nothing, or then we've got boost. So if we go up again. So, if you remember, when we bought that new pot and we got the push-pull AC on thing, and obviously to switch it on, and we've removed that to the back. So I thought it would make use of that switch on there. Are you ready for it? Is just awesome. We'll up the gain a bit, up the treble a bit, sorry. Turn a bit of the tone out. That's with no treble now, all the tone out. Just with a bit in. I drop this switch off, that's with the boost, the mega boost. See, now we've now got just a bit more of a grungier. It's got a bit more of a grungier distortion there. We switch the mild in. Again, that's very bright, but we can control that with the tone control. So this Rebel pickup that I'm using, this Tone Rider Rebel pickup, is quite bright. See the scope. So that's full toning there now. So you get just that really lovely, sweet, soft overdrive. just can't get the stretch anymore. 6 fret stretch takes a bit of doing now with the arthritis. So again, if we put that in the centre position, you lose a bit of that's with the in the off position on this micro switch. So we've got a bit more bass now. Yes, it's not as fast as I used to be getting around a guitar. So there we are. What can we say about that? That's just got about every type of overdrive sound you can think of really coming out of that. This is just a little Class A, you know, probably getting about 3 watts out of it, yet we can get all that overdrive and still get it really clean. It's got the tiniest output transformer on it, and it just sounds awesome. It's just a fun thing to play. I must have lost 2 hours just playing on it while I was tweaking it and so on, and it's just been the brilliant fun playing around with it and getting it, you know, getting this circuit right. And it is really loud, which is why I'm having to use it on this hot plate. But again, if we just go up a few dBs, and there. So you've got quite a harder tone there. Now is with the boost switch out on there, and we've got the volume down. We can brighten that up with the tone control. I've got that real woody tone that we're getting there, and if we just go up a bit more, just drop that. That's just with a boost start. That's just awesome. So let's just with the boost start now, and that's actually with the micro switch in the 0 in the off position. So if we put the mild in with that now, you can see that is now really that's suddenly gone really bright. So again, we'll back a bit of that off. So there we are. I just keep, you know, you can just get loads of different sounds out of this thing. Just fiddling around with the switches and the boost. Shove the boost in. And it's really tame. Switch out there. Ease him down, bring a bit more up on there. There we have it, the Hollywood Company Amp 1, which sounds absolutely awesome. But now, of course, we need to look at its own speaker. Now this is where it hasn't fared so well. This speaker is very bright, and it's not particularly good quality, as it's not going to be. It's not been designed for guitar, has it? It's not a guitar speaker. Now it's on its own speaker. The problem is now, of course, is, you know, you have to be careful, because we'll blow this speaker if we put too much volume through it, because it's just not up to the job. Start to put the switches in, that's when we start to get the feedback, and you have to back it off with the tone control, because the frequency of this speaker is really, you know, it's high. So you just have to be a bit, careful with that, and you can hear the tubes already pinging. Because it's so easy for it to feed back, because this, you know, this is really acting like a microphone. It's so close to it. And also that because the speaker's inside, it's rattling. You know, it's rattling the tube. Very bright, and I've got all the tone off now. Really could do with another speaker, really, to make this right. And it's the milder switch, which is brighter, is not a good idea on this speaker. That is the in fact, if we put it in the off position, it's fine, as long as we don't go mad. And we can even get the full tone control in on that. But you can hear that speaker's really wafting there, and it won't stand much of that, I'm afraid. So it could do with a bit of an upgrade on that. It really is starting to labour a bit. And even if we switch in the, you can just hear that beginning to come in now. So again, if we keep the tone control down, we just can't quite get that flat out in with the boost on the back. But that is not going to last long if we start belting that. You know, that speaker's probably about probably capable of handling, you know, half a watt or something. Which doesn't seem much, but you know, it's still plenty loud enough for a, you know, for a living room. Could just do a speaker with a bit more bass response, really. But as long as you don't push it, you know, it is what it is. It's if you push it too far, it'll just blow. It's a very boxy sound as well, which it will be. I mean, it is what it is. But obviously, you know, once you plug the speaker in, this amp's just awesome. So it's probably been a bit of a long video, this one, but it's been worth it, and I've had loads of fun doing this amp, loads of fun. So thanks for watching, you all take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye for now.